Well, g'day fishers, Brent from Tackle World Port Stephens with our weekly fishing report. Now follow us on Instagram and also YouTube. So they're the two platforms that this will be loaded on now. Facebook seems to be failing in trying to load our fishing reports. So either Instagram or YouTube, that's where you'll find our weekly fishing report from now on in. So what's been happening? Well, it's a bit like Melbourne weather at the moment. At least it's been a little bit warm. Plenty of rain, sunshine, whatever else, and then hopefully this weekend should be okay. Looking at the weather, Saturday we're going to have those northerlies, but Sunday it backs off to really light winds. Monday looks really good. So there you go. Make the most of Sunday, I reckon. Now, what's been happening around the bay, offshore, whatever else? Well, inside the bay, there's been absolute cracking flatties caught. Since we've had all that rain, it's definitely pushed some big duskies down into the shallow parts of Port Stephens around the flats there. Young Bailey caught an absolute cracker, 84 centimetres off Little Beach Wharf there. There's been some others caught down there, especially down at First Light, especially on paddle tail plastics. So any of those big power baits work really well. The Berkeley power baits in the paddle tail has been working really well. That little bit of dirty water there, so that movement being the key there. Also up around Corlette, there's been some absolute cracking flatties around the groins there. Opposite Corlette shop there, you'll see those three rock groins, some good flatties there at the moment. And along Bagnalls Beach, if you're keen to go and wade the flats at Bagnalls Beach, you'll get some good flatties there. Also on the opposite side of the bay, around the shortcut area, there's been some good flatties through that way as well. So definitely flatties on the menu. I spoke to Paul off Fishport Stephens Estuary Charters. That's a mouthful. He's been getting some absolute cracking flatties for his customers. Some good whiting on the surface lures, and he's also said there's some absolute cracking bream on the surface lures as well. So that water temperature in the bay is obviously up there. So anything feeding on the surface this time of year is worth a shot in the estuary. So looking good this weekend inside the port itself. Some squid around Shoal Bay. There's plenty of squid down that way as well. And that incoming tide, obviously that clear water. And the squid are on the chew down there at the moment. Haven't heard of too many dewies caught this week, but it'll be worth a shot. We're on the full moon right now, so definitely worth a shot for a dewey on those tide changes. If you can get some liveys, well and good. If not, we've got some fresh squid ready to go there for your dewies inside the bay. A few blue swimmers around, but haven't been real prolific. It's been a funny year on the crabs. I think the rain's got something to do with it. I reckon once we get into March, April, May, that's when the blue swimmers will fire right up. That's for sure this year. Bit of a hot tip right there. So on the beach as well, it's been a bit of a blowout this week. Those easterlies, northeast, then to southeast, the beaches, well, they were productive. There was heaps of whiting around before we had those southerlies. And I'd say they're still there at the moment. So I think Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon will be the pick on the beaches. I know Fingal's been fishing extremely well for whiting. Some absolute hooters up there at the moment. If you're getting into the live worms there, you'll catch those good whiting up that way. Same down Samurai as well, though it's been pretty packed down there. I know Australia Day, they reckon there was 204 drives down there, but there's been some good whiting down there, and obviously Barooby's been fishing pretty well. But with that southerly swell, hopefully it kicks around in the northeast, then Barooby will fire up. Now on the rocks, there's been a little bit of pelagic action. There's a few kings around, a few bonito kicking around now. The bonito's finally showing up at the moment, so let's hope that water's pushing a little bit with those southeasters. But off those points there, I know Barry Park, there's been some bonito just on dark or First Light, some good Taylor in there as well. Obviously 1 Mile Point's been fishing pretty well with the bonito, and there's a few rat kings down that way as well. So rock fishing all in all been good. I think after this swell, it'll be worth throwing a few baits for a few snapper there as well off the rocks. Particularly around Boulder Bay and down in Boat Harbour. Fisherman's Bay is always good after a big swell. And snapper off the rocks. So that's what's happening there. Now, the offshore scene. Well, we'll begin with the reef fishing. Plenty of trag around at the moment. The V, the 21, the big giver. There's been some really good trag around down south off the Uralla. Plenty of nice trag around. Some few reds mixed in as well. Spoke to Rusty Highland. He's been getting trag and reds mixed in. So he's getting a mixed bag on the reefs at the moment, getting a good feed. So if you're keen on doing that, definitely worth trag and snapper on those deeper reefs. A few kings on the V as well. I know guys have been marlin fishing and actually been hooking kings. Some good ones too, up to 95 centimetres a metre long. So some good kingies there. Bit of a surprise when you're trying live baits at the moment. And around the shallows of Broughton, I know there's been some bigger models there up to 15, 16 kilos. So all in all, the offshore fishing is going to be pretty good. I think Saturday's going to be a bit of a write-off though, but Sunday definitely worth a shot out there at the moment. The FAD's been holding a few nice dolphin fish. Now, speaking of which, Chris Pride came in last weekend, weighed an absolute cracking dolphin fish, 19 kilos, or a bit over 19 kilos. Absolute pearl of a dolphin fish. So Got a photo of that we'll put on our socials. Absolute beauty. So well done, Chris. Deserved that. He goes out there and puts the hours in. So absolute cracking of a dolphin fish. Now, marlin scene. Let's talk about that. So on the shelf, the Born Free fished, I think it was last Saturday, and fished down on the edge there, down the car park. They managed 5 black marlin on skip baits. I believe they also lost the striped marlin on lure. So bit of action on the car park. A few fish caught on the inshore. I know Jamie fished up at Seals, caught a couple of black marlin in his new boat. So he's christened his new boat, which is good. Believe though the bloke that was on the rod was a little bit slow. But anyway, you can't help that. Can't help bad luck, can you, Jamie? But anyway, caught a couple of marlin on his new rig. Also heard there was a few caught down off the lighthouse, down off Fingal as well. Now, I had a quick trip on Sunday. I've got to get my days right. It's a mixed up week. And yes, we did pretty well on the inshore. We went 8 for 9 black marlin on the inshore, ranging from 25 to 60 kilos. So, and we were tricking around 2 live baits in the riggers and a strip teaser, and there you go. So, few fish around at the moment. We'll have to see what this weather's done and the swell, see if the water's there. We can't get a reading on rip charts. Obviously, it's too cloudy, being satellites. If I owned a satellite, might do all right, but can't afford one of them. So we'll just have to wait and see what the sun does, or you could do what we used to do old school, go and have a look. So it's always worth doing that. Anyway, all in all, I think Saturday is okay. Sunday is going to be an absolute perler. Might as well get out there and get amongst it. And don't forget, the boat ramp at Little Beach is shut for about 24 hours on Monday. Bugger, because it's my day off. I'll have to go and find another boat ramp. Anyway, enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk next week.